Welcome to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. From the latest NBA news to the gridiron and beyond, we are diving deep into the headlines that matter most to you. Today's show is proudly brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, your local experts in digital marketing and audience connection. Before we break the huddle, do me a huge favor. Head over to YouTube and subscribe to the Answer Now TV. Don't miss a single highlight, interview, or heated debate. The clock is ticking and the game is on. Let's go.
Hey, good morning, Sports Answer fans. Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV. Be sure to subscribe to Answer Now TV so you don't miss any shows, whether it be the Sports Answer, whether it be the Drive on Fridays, or whether it be Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia. You're going to get a ton of shows and a ton of content, especially with the NBA playoffs around the corner. You're going to get a lot of Spurs talk, of course, with myself and Jeff Garcia, part of Spurs in Focus. Sports Answer is got confused this morning. Sports Answer is brought to you by Salem Surround, 210-526-3635, or salemsurround.com/San Antonio if you want to go to their website. Now, look, Salem Surround, they are our sponsors here at the Sports Answer. And you know what? If your marketing and your branding needs work, you just sit behind a computer and you're trying to figure out, how can I get more people to look at my business, to come to my business, to spend in my business? What you want to do is you want to call Salem Surround, 210-526-3635 today, because that's their specialty. That is the reason why they are the champions, the number one seed in all of digital marketing, because they are the best. That is Salem Surround. Call them today, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. What do we've got today? So, of course, we're going to touch up a little bit on the WNBA talk, the expansion talk. Questioning, is it too soon? I mean, you just signed a new CBA. You're starting to see seven-figure deals go around the league now. I think Chelsea Gray was the first player in WNBA history to get a $1 million deal. To actually get offered a $1 million deal. So the money's starting to flow. The money's starting to go with the WNBA. We're going to get into that because then they announced expansion for Philadelphia, Cleveland, and I got the other team here in a little bit here. Bring it up right now. Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Detroit are the other three franchises that are going to be coming in. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And also we're going to get into some NFL talk. I have a question for you guys and Cowboy fans. I want you to know, George Pickens, even though he's been franchise tagged, the question's been coming up here. Is he going to get moved on draft day? That is a legit question. It's kind of been thrown out there that the Cowboys want to move up into maybe the top 5, top 6 picks to get one of the better defensive players in this NFL draft. And there is a team that's interested, and it could possibly happen here. We'll mention that team in just a little bit. Also, the NBA 65 game rule. We've talked about it many times. It involves awards. Now, Victor obviously qualifies for all the awards, all NBA. Nikola Jokic, all these guys are starting to qualify for the awards. You've got guys like Luka Doncic, Cade Cunningham, who aren't going to be able to qualify for these awards. Beyond the award part, what else does this affect? And that's the thing that we've got to realize is there's a bigger problem when it comes to this 65 game rule. We're going to touch up on that here in a little bit. Plus, of course, the NBA talk. We've got a poll that's going to be running here in just a little bit. Spurs, do you want them to see Spurs Chisme? Do you want them to see Denver in the second round, potentially Minnesota, potentially the Lakers, if they were, to be there in that second round position for San Antonio? Also, Denver. I mean, that the thing is, Denver today going into the San Antonio game, you don't want to say tanking, but have they kind of just waved the white flag and are hoping to maybe get that 4th seed where they would face Oklahoma City in the second round if both teams do make it? I remember, and you remember last week, for those of y'all sports fans out there, I said I would take Denver over OKC if they battled in the second round. A healthy Denver team is extremely strong, and I get OKC is the best team in the league right now, obviously record-wise, but we're going to look at some of the past games because I think Denver could easily beat Oklahoma City in a 7-game series. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. First things first, we got something new here we're going to try. We are going to do a poll question. So all you got to do is you can vote on the poll question here. Leave your comments in the poll question, and we're going to see exactly who Who do the Spurs want to play? Who do fans want the Spurs to play? Do you want to play Denver? Do you want to maybe see Minnesota? Do you want to see the Lakers? Right now, this poll question is basically saying, hey, do you want to see Denver in that second round? That's what we're getting at here at the Sports Answer. It's going to be up here from time to time. You guys can vote on it anytime that it is on there as well. Again, shout out to Sam's Around. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. Let's get into WNBA talk. Or do you want to start in NFL? You know what? We'll start with NFL talk. I want to talk about the NFL here. George Pickens on the trade block. What do you think, Cowboy fans? All right, so George Pickens, obviously being franchise tagged, they have until July 15th to sign him to a long-term deal. Now, Pickens and Lamb were a dynamic duo for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys last season. I know, you look at everything, Pickens was probably the best receiver of the two. He had the better year, and that's my opinion. A lot of Cowboy fans may agree with that. Some may disagree with that. George Pickens was a difference maker for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there has been talks, there has been rumors that Dallas wants to move up. You've heard them talking about potentially trading with Arizona to get up into one of those top 3 spots. You're potentially even talking about the Jets, maybe even going up to number 2. Making a trade with the New York Jets. They're looking at guys up there. The one guy that they're looking at is Bailey out of Texas Tech, but they can go up and get an impact defensive player right away. Now, there is a team sitting at 6, and that is the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland desperately needs a wide receiver, and some of the talks around the league are saying that Cleveland is willing to offer up that number 6 pick for George Pickens. Now, in return, they would get one of Dallas's first-round picks. So it would be George Pickens, a first-rounder from Dallas in this year's draft for Cleveland 6, and potentially a second-round pick from Cleveland. Now, the price tag, I think, is perfect. I think if the Cowboys are able to get the number 6 pick in this year's draft to move up for one of their picks and George Pickens, as well as get Cleveland's second-round pick, I think that's a perfect price. I think that is a very intriguing deal. And as an NFL armchair GM, I would say approve. I would take that deal all day, every day. Because at 6, you're looking at getting the potential of Ruben Baines out of Miami. I mean, you can easily. Does Arvell Reese drop? I mean, no, I think he stays at 3. What does Arizona do? I mean, I'm sorry. The Jets at 2. Arvell Reese. I'm sorry. Arvell Reese, I think, stays at 2 with the Jets. They could go David Bailey out of Texas Tech. But I think Arizona holds the key to everything, because there's talks of them taking either Reese or Bailey. There's even talks of them needing Malaga from, the offensive tackle. They could go either way. I think the Jets hold the key in this first round. Tennessee right now, I believe they may go Jeremiah Love, which, again, I'm not a really big fan of drafting a running back really high in the first round, even in the first 10 picks. I know Jeremiah Love is a difference maker. He can come in and make plays right away. But I'm not a big fan of drafting a running back in the first couple of picks, maybe in the first 10, 15 picks. Everybody points to the Jahmyr Gibbs. Everybody points to Bijan Robinson. Yeah, they're workhorses, and they are absolutely worth the picks. But even at that point, being a Falcon fan, I would not have drafted Bijan that high. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just me. Everybody has different opinions on it. Nonetheless, with Pickens, if the Cowboys are able to get send Pickens and one of their first for Cleveland 6, and then the second round pick, or maybe even a third round pick, I'm fine with that too. But if you can get a first and a second for George, you have to do it. Now you put yourself in that number 6 spot. Say Arizona does not take either Reese or Bailey. Titans, more than likely, they will more than likely end up taking, like we said, Jeremiah Love. Cowboys could be in perfect position to really make a splash in this NFL draft. We're looking at, we're looking at the rounds. I mean, you're looking at what, 5 is the Giants? I don't think the Giants are gonna go defense. They've got a potential problem with Dexter Lawrence wanting out, but I don't think they go defense. So that really leaves you with the Cowboys at 6 if they're able to move Pickens for that number 6 pick. Sonny Styles is there as well. I mean, if they need a safety, which the Cowboys always need a safety, they always need help. You have Caleb Downs. So again, Cowboy fans, I'm asking you, is this worth it? Moving George Pickens, the difference maker from last year, dominant season for the Cowboys. But if Cleveland is willing to move off that 6th pick for George Pickens and maybe one of your first rounders, I mean, they're probably definitely going to want the 12th pick to start off. But maybe if you kind of sweeten it, give them the 24th pick, which you have as well, maybe throw in a third. You could potentially move up to 6, and then you're looking at a player, like I said, the David Bailey could be there. Arvell Reese may even be there, which I don't think. I think Reese goes 2. It's either Reese or Bailey's going to go 2. But then Arizona holds the key. Say Arizona does go either Reese or Bailey. That's their option. Again, the Titans, I feel, are going to go Jeremiah Love. The Giants, I do not see them going. I mean, they're not going to take either Styles or Downs. If they do, there's one available for Dallas at 6. They want to make an impact. They want to make a difference. It's right there. That 2nd round pick, if you get in return, even that 3rd, you're going to get a very quality wide receiver at that pick. It's Cowboy fans. It's up to you. What do you feel? How do you feel on George Pickens and the Cleveland Browns as a potential trade involving that number 6 pick? Leave your comments in the comment section here. We are live. Talking about the Cowboys again. NFL draft coverage is going to be coming very, very soon here at the Sports Answer. We're going to do a lot of shorts. We are on TikTok. You can go to Box Score Studio on TikTok as well. You can find us there. You can find us here on Answer Now TV for the Sports Answer. You can find us everywhere. We're going to be providing a lot of NFL coverage, a lot of NFL draft coverage as we do some mock drafts for you live here on the Sports Answer as well. I think we're going to do one this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And this week as well, we're going to have a lot of NFL draft coverage for you guys here at the Sports Answer. Shout out to Sam Surround 210-526-3635. WNBA talk. So, of course, we know Portland and Toronto have their franchises. They just got done with their expansion draft. The new CBA just came out, and players are being rewarded. We're seeing 7-figure deals for the first time, really, in WNBA history. I mean, we're talking 1 year, $1 million deals. A lot of it's guaranteed. So, I mean, this is a turning point for the WNBA. And then also recently, the Connecticut Sun were bought out by a businessman in Houston. Can't remember actually who it was, but now the Connecticut Sun are moving back to Houston. I believe it's after this season. It's their last season in Connecticut. So now Houston's getting the team back, just like the old days when they had the Houston Comets. They expanded Portland. They expanded Toronto. They finally went into Canada. We'll see how that plays out. But then the announcement of 3 more expansion teams. Cleveland and Detroit both had teams before. Philadelphia getting a team. Is it too fast for the WNBA? I get it. Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA for the better. The hype that she brought coming into the league, it helped a whole lot. Players like Angel Reese adding more eyes, more views to the league. The rivalries that she has with Caitlin Clark from college now to the pros. The young players, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink, even though she had an injury all last year, she was out. She's returning. Then you got Paige Beckers. You've got a lot of great young talent in the WNBA now. This draft class coming up, pretty stacked. Azzy Fudd, Awafam, Lauren Betts, Olivia Miles, who I think is going to be a star in this league. The Dallas Wings sitting at 1, they have a very tough decision. I've been saying Lauren Betts for the longest time for Dallas. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to see Lauren go number 1. But Dallas, you've got 4 great players there that you can easily choose from. Top 4 picks are going to be pretty damn good next year or this coming season. But the announcement of the WNBA expanding to those 3 cities, it's a little fast for me. I get it. You want to jump on, all the success that you've had recently. You want to start awarding cities franchises. But we remember when the WNBA was hot, then it was not. And that was a sad time, even for me, because San Antonio had the Silver Stars. A team that left Utah came to San Antonio. Now they are the Las Vegas Aces, one of the most decorated franchises. San Antonio residents, San Antonio Stars fans, they were pretty pissed off when we lost the Stars. Think about it. We had Asia Wilson already. She never played in San Antonio, but they were ready to get, she was drafted. She could have been in San Antonio. Could have easily been, mentored by Robinson and Duncan. I mean, it was just ungodly, man. San Antonio could have had more championships in their city. So we've seen expansions happen before, but we've seen franchises fail. Fans out there of the WNBA, is this way too fast for you? Adding these extra franchises. You're talking about 5 franchises added to the league. Again, Toronto and Portland, they start, I believe, this season. And then I think it's 2028 is when I want to say Cleveland, then Detroit, and then Philadelphia. They go year after year after year, I think. That's what it is. Are they done expanding? Do you feel like maybe these WNBA teams should be more in NBA teams, like NBA cities? I think, with the San Antonio Spurs back to being successful, San Antonio may take on another WNBA franchise. I like the idea that they're expanding. I like the idea, the ambition. I love it that they want to make, they want to offer more roster spots, more opportunities for women to play in the league. But I think it's just a little too fast. You just signed a DCBA. You're just getting, the ball rolling on everything. Players are, we're seeing a lot of players. Angel Reese just got traded to Atlanta. We're seeing a lot of players move. And it's going to be a really good and interesting WNBA season. Players being moved, players signing with different teams. It's going to be different. It's going to be fun. But I think we need to kind of pump the brakes a little bit and think, okay, wait a minute. We got this new CBA. We're getting going. We got 2 franchises. Let's work it out. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. And then start talking about expansion. I think expanding this quick I think it might blow up in their face. Because now you're going to have an expansion draft for 3 more franchises, which I'm not complaining. I like that. Because now you won't have teams that are going to be stacked from top to bottom. It'll maybe make the league a little bit more, not competitive, but, it'll break everybody up. You'll have more stars, more players becoming stars. So I think that's a good thing. But I think they first need to see what they have with Toronto and Portland. They've got to see what they've got first. Attendance is going to be great the first season, but what happens in season 2, season 3? I mean, we don't expect them to have a Golden State Valkyrie run like in their expansion. Could they? Maybe, but we don't expect it. Attendance may not be great in year 2, may not be great in year 3, may be horrid in year 4. And then you're talking, well, we cannot survive in this city. We cannot survive. This franchise can't survive. That's why I think expansion should kind of just wait a little bit. And then you go from there. You can award maybe one more city, but awarding 3 right off the bat, that's a little too tough. I get jumping on the hype train. I get moving really fast because things are going in the right direction. But if you haven't been able to tighten up the bolts, those wheels are going to fall off pretty quickly. Rudy Campos here, Sports Answer. Salem's around 210-526-3635. We got NBA talk, the NBA 65 game rule. Going to get into that as well. Also, MVP talk. We're going to make our final selection for MVP. The Denver Nuggets, they're kind of just throwing in the towel, basically, if you want to say that, against San Antonio. They've got a lot to play for, but do they really want to play for that? Also, your Spurs Chisme segment. Spurs heading into the playoffs. Do you want them to see Denver in that second round? That's the question. That is our poll. Do you Spurs fans want to see Denver in the second round? We'll put that poll up on our social media as well here. But again, that'll be the poll that we're going to be putting up for here. Do the Spurs want to see Denver in the second round? Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer. When we get back, it's all NBA talk. It's all Spurs Chisme. We'll be back here from the word from our sponsors over at Salem Surround.
You've been watching The Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com, San Antonio, and stay in the game.
All right, shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at The Sports Answer. Subscribe to The Sports Answer by going to Answer Now TV on YouTube, hitting that subscribe button so you do not miss out on The Sports Answer. We also do a Friday drive show from time to time, and also you will not miss the new show, Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia. All the Spurs talk you definitely need here, especially with the playoffs looming. Get into the NBA league. Now, the 65 game talk, very hot topic, very, very hot topic when it comes to, the awards. Hey, Wemby does not qualify for this last year, and he should have been Defensive Player of the Year 3 years running. Everything comes out with this 65 game rule. I understand why you've got it. I mean, I get it. And I was kind of a fan of it because I'm like, man, I'm tired of these guys just resting and, doing this, doing that. But there's a difference between rest and injuries. Let's look at Cade Cunningham. I mean, we can't argue that Cade Cunningham was top 2 MVP for a while there in the first part of the league. I mean, there's definite all NBA. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he should be all NBA. But he was playing, and he was playing out of his mind. Plus, Detroit was number 1 seed, and they're still the number 1 seed over in the East. The reason being was Cade Cunningham. But now, because of the 65 game rule, because he got injured and had a collapsed lung, he's ineligible for NBA awards to include all NBA teams. So I get the league wants players to play. I get the league is like, you know what? These fans are paying, X number of dollars and, at the Knicks, hey, the Spurs are coming to town. We need Wemby. We need Castle playing because these guys are buying, these fans are buying tickets to see Wemby. They get to New York and Wemby's out. Is he injured? He's got a pulled toenail. He's going to be out. That's what the league's trying to avoid. They want to make sure their superstars, their stars, their legends, their greats are playing. And I totally understand, especially on the road where you may only get to see that player one time. But a legit injury. You're legit injured. A collapsed lung, Cade Cunningham. Luka Doncic, leg injury. It's whatever. These guys that get injured legitimately. That's the part where I have a problem with. Luka was all NBA, another MVP candidate this year. It's going to miss everything because of injury. So I get the resting. You don't want to see players rest just to rest. Charles Barkley, a lot of these guys from the old days, I totally agree. We didn't rest. Shout out to Eddie Johnson over at SiriusXM Radio, him and Justin Termini. Eddie said, I had a bonus. I had to hit X number of games to get my bonus at the end of the year. Do you think in hell that I was going to miss that bonus? Hell no. I was playing regardless. Injury or not, I was playing. Now, a lot of these contracts these times are guaranteed, and Eddie wasn't making what they're making now. So, yeah, you played through injury back then to hit bonuses to make sure you got paid every bit of your contract that you could get paid for. But again, injuries should not disqualify you from, winning any type of award or All NBA. None should disqualify you. Legit injuries. Victor last year, he had the problem with his heart. You mean to tell me that, hey, the season you had last year, minimum defensive player of the year, potentially maybe third All-NBA team, but because of something that happened to deal with his heart, it's like, you know what? You're not going to have enough games, so we really can't have you win anything at all. That's the crap that a lot of fans don't like. So explain to me this. In order for you to win the NBA scoring title, any statistical category, you have to play a minimum of 58 games. That is 7 games less than for you to win an NBA award or make All NBA team. 58 games to lead the league in scoring and win that title, compared to 65 games to be awarded anything. I'm fine with them going to 58 games. If you're going to make 58 games the standard and the minimum to win a statistical category, I'm fine with 58 games when it comes to winning All NBA, NBA awards, whatever. I'm perfectly fine with that. But what else does this affect? It affects All NBA. You know what All NBA affects as well? It affects your super max deals and your max deals. Now, I'm not crapping on players when I say this. I'm not crapping on them at all. But when you've got guys like Luka, Cade, Giannis, Steph, a lot of these guys are not eligible for awards due to injury. Well, you're starting to put players in that top 15, All NBA first, second, third team. That means you got to be a top 15 player in the league. You're putting them in that upper echelon. And guess what? every contract, every contract extension, it comes to that. You're giving players who are not top 15 players the right to say, I made all NBA. Well, my number just went up based off of collective bargaining, based off of everything. My number just went up. The potentials of guys have seen, and again, you got to understand, I'm not crapping on players. I'm not. But I have to ask you, and I have to be honest with you. If a guy like Derek White, beloved San Antonio player in the past, which I love Derek White, but say a guy like Derek White who's had a really above average, really good season with all these ineligible players gets into the third team, all NBA. Do you consider Derek all NBA? A player like OG Anunoby right now this season, does he get it all NBA? I'm just throwing names out there. Do these guys get in over Adeni Avdija? Do they get in over Alperen Sengun? You're putting players that are not top 15 in the league into the top 15 category, which then gives them all the ammo to negotiate max deals. What does this do for a guy like Victor? Say Victor did not qualify for awards again. He'd have one more season to get awards, to win MVP, to make all NBA in order to get a super max deal. You're putting players in that position that you shouldn't put them in. That's the biggest thing for me when it comes to the 65 game rule. Is the super max. Players are going to be getting super max deals and max deals who are not top 15 players in the league. Again, not crapping on players. I'm just saying you're getting paid money that you deserve. Every player deserves whatever money they get, they deserve. They work their butt off. They work their tail off. And if they get, buku dollars, by all means, you get buku dollars. But when it comes to max deals and super max deals, what are the requirements? Is you've got to get in the all NBA team. You're getting players that are not top 15, maybe not even top 20 in the league are going to get all NBA nods because your top 15 guys, some of them are ineligible due to injury and they don't meet the 65 game threshold. That's what has to change. Because if 58 games means you can win a scoring title and you can win any statistical award at the end of the season, then 58 games means you should be able to qualify for all NBA and for all awards. But also, let's talk about the injury. You've got to figure out a way to signify the injury part. If a player is out for 3 weeks due to knee contusion or whatever, I don't know, whatever, and they miss 8 games in those 3 weeks, should not count all 8 games against them if it's a legit injury. Something has to be done. Biggest thing is because of the All NBA. It's going to affect max deals. It's going to affect super max deals. Players are going to get all this money. And again, they're not top 20 players in the league, maybe in some cases. We'll find out here. NBA playoff talk. All right, before we get into Spurs Chisme here, NBA playoff talk, and we're asking, would the Nuggets rather have the Thunder or Spurs in the second round? Now, The reason why this is brought up is because we got the injury report yesterday from Denver Nuggets, and pretty much everybody's out. Cam Johnson's out, Jamal Murray's out, Aaron Gordon's going to be out, Christian Braun, Spencer Jones, Peyton Watson, and Tim Hardaway Jr. All guys are out. Their entire roster is pretty much out. That's what 7 guys from the roster are out. Nikola Jokic is questionable. Now, I think Jokic plays his 20 minutes today against San Antonio, and then he's pulled in order for him to get eligible again for all those end of season awards, all the all NBA. He's going to play 20, 21 minutes, maybe just to get his number, to get his threshold for the games played. So I think Nikola plays. But everybody else is out. So a lot of fans, a lot of people are talking, even media guys out there, NBA media guys are talking, do they want to miss San Antonio in that second round? Do they want to play OKC that second round? Yada, yada, yada. It may be a little bit more than that. Because if they were to stay in the spot that they are in, they would have to play Minnesota that first round. I think Minnesota is the toughest out in the first round. No doubt about it. They are the toughest out. I mean, they've been in the West Conference Finals back-to-back years. A Minnesota team, very scary. Very scary. Regardless, the Spurs are going to have to play, either Minnesota or Denver, whatever happens in that second round. More than likely, the Spurs are going to play Phoenix that first round. But I think what it is you're going to see either Denver or Minnesota that second round. Now, if the Lakers get to that third spot, which with what Denver's doing could very well happen because the Lakers do play Utah and are favored against Utah, obviously. They could get to 3 and play, Minnesota. Do they beat Minnesota? I highly doubt it. I mean, you're going to need both Luka and Austin Reeves back, which I believe Luka's coming back, and I believe Austin Reeves will be ready for the playoffs. But Minnesota is a very tough out. Massively tough out. So maybe it's not so much do the Nuggets want to miss the Spurs in that second round? Maybe they don't want to play Minnesota that first round, knowing that it's going to be a battle, a 7-game series battle for them. But on paper, I mean, look at the season series. I know, everybody knows, Oklahoma and Denver. Oklahoma is 3-1 against Denver this season. And you may think, Rudy, why do you think Denver would beat Oklahoma City? Oklahoma's kind of owned them this year. Well, the first game, they didn't have Jokic play. If I'm not mistaken. They probably did. They did not. They did. So that first game, they didn't have Aaron Gordon. They didn't have Cameron Johnson. It was Jokic. It was Murray. And that game, I believe, was one of the pretty much the only blowout of the whole 3 or 4 game series. 121 to 111 is what I'm looking at here. Early in the season, okay, Denver had some injuries coming in. No Gordon, no Cameron Johnson, lost by 10. Move on to the next game. They go to overtime. Oklahoma City wins 127-121. But again, no Aaron Gordon in that game. We've seen recently how much of a difference Aaron Gordon makes for Denver when they're completely healthy. Game 3, close again, 126-129. Everybody's back for Denver. Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Cameron Johnson, Christian Braun. That was anybody's game. Of course, the last game, nobody played in that last game. Denver won. But I mean, you're talking to Oklahoma City, had Jared McCain, Nikola Topic, Brendan Carlson, Aaron Wiggins. That was their starting 5. Lou Dort as well. Now, again, Denver didn't have anybody either. Denver sat Jokic. They sat Murray. It was basically bench versus bench that last game. Denver won. 127-107. 20-point win. But you see why I picked Denver over OKC, say they meet in the second round. I feel Denver matches up better with Oklahoma City than they do San Antonio. Now, again, Denver won the season series over San Antonio. They did. I understand that. I picked Denver at the beginning of the season to win the NBA title. They were my pick. I will not shy away from that. As great as the Spurs run has had, I would be happy. I would be excited. I'd love the fact that the Spurs made it to the finals and won the championship. But as a man of his word, when I called it out at the beginning of the season, unless they just do not make the playoffs, I stick to my word. I'm taking Denver in the NBA championship, to win the NBA championship this year. I will not stay away from that. Do I feel at the end of the season that they could win it? I don't feel as confident as I did at the beginning of the season, where I was 100% confident at the beginning of the season. I'm 95% sure right now. So I have about 5% difference. But I won't move away from it. But Denver matches up with OKC the same way the San Antonio Spurs match up with OKC. A healthy Denver team is 1A or 1B with San Antonio as the most deep team in the league roster-wise. They can get you from all angles. OKC, you have Shea, you have Chet, who can be problematic at times. But when you play physical with Chet, it tends to really screw up his game. We haven't really seen Jalen Williams, J-Dubs really burst out of the bubble this year, I guess. I mean, he started off great. He had great games. Not much there, and I know it's due to injury. Jared McCain, been a big X factor for OKC. But I just don't feel like this is an OKC type of run in the playoffs. Tougher teams, the Spurs, obviously. Denver. Minnesota could give them a whole lot of run if they were to meet in that conference finals. So, yeah. I don't think it's so much that Denver wants to miss the Spurs as much as them wanting to just not deal with Minnesota in that first round of the playoffs. Very physical, very demanding series. May not want to play Minnesota. But do the Lakers, do they fumble against Utah, say if Denver loses? Do they say, we don't want a part of Minnesota either? We'll take our chances playing OKC that second round. That's a tough one. I don't even think the Lakers can beat the Rockets. We'd have to see how Luka and Austin are health-wise. But if you're talking Luka's struggling because of his health, his injury, Austin Reeves isn't quite back. Now, remember, when you're coming back from injury, it takes a little while to get back. You're testing out the waters. Playoff basketball is more physical. So we have to see what happens. But I think the Rockets could potentially beat the Lakers if they do meet there. So again, I think the Nuggets are just more avoiding. I think they're more avoiding the Timberwolves more so than the Spurs. What do you guys think out there? Real quick, one more shot right here. Playoff basketball also brings in the MVP talk. These are your top three. These are your three guys here. Say Jokic does get his 21 minutes today, qualifies for the award. A lot of people media-wise are talking Wemby as MVP. I'm not going to argue with anybody on MVP. I've had SGA your MVP for pretty much the entire season based off of record. Team record, that's it. He's putting up great scoring numbers. But I've been very vocal on the point of MVP, yes, means what value do you have to your team? Without this person, are they a playoff team? I mean, OKC, I think, is still a playoff team. Without Wemby, the Spurs, I think they could still be a playoff team play-in at minimum. But a play-in team at minimum. Denver without Jokic, lottery bound. I feel that they're lottery bound. So when Jeff Garcia from Spurs and Focus and I talk, and it says, and Jeff had mentioned, which player means the most to his team should be the MVP, then it's Nikola Jokic. I mean, the Spurs have been able to win without Wemby. The Thunder can win without SGA. I don't think the Nuggets can survive without Jokic. So we have to throw that out the window. They don't survive without Jokic. But overall, when you're talking MVP, I think SGA gets it because of the record. I don't buy it. To me, that's BS. I don't buy that. The MVP is either Victor Wembanyama or Nikola Jokic in my eyes. Victor has one of the biggest turnarounds for a franchise this season. I mean, you're potentially talking possible MVP, guaranteed defensive player of the year, a six-man in Keldon Johnson who should win it, but because everybody's on the Miami Heat bandwagon for being a 10th seed in the East, I think Jaime Jaquez is a huge part of it. Give me a break. It should be Keldon. Been consistent all year. Mitch Johnson probably will finish top 3, maybe third in Coach of the Year. Should not. Should finish no lower than second in Coach of the Year. Brian Wright, Executive of the Year, has potential there. Spurs could walk away with a ton of awards. But I make a big case for Victor as MVP. The numbers he's putting up, leads the league in blocks. Doesn't have the scoring as a Nikola or an SGA. Right up there in rebounds with Joker. Assist, okay, now. Can't really go with assist. But the second best record in the league, it's got to mean something. Especially after the horrendous starts to your career that you've had record-wise. It's got to mean something. Means more than what SGA is doing for Oklahoma City. But when you talk about player, you look at Nikola Jokic, averaging a triple-double again for a season. A year where Denver has been bitten by the injury bug, still competing for a top 3 spot. Had not it been for injuries, you're talking about maybe even top 2 in the West. They could have given the Spurs a lot of run. A lot of games could have gone different for Denver this year. But if we're talking MVP player-wise, statistical-wise, no doubt it's Nikola Jokic. My final MVP rankings, on my opinion, this is not how it's going to probably go, obviously. I've got Wemby, Joker, SGA. That's my final top 3. That's my final for the season. Wemby, Joker, SGA. How is it going to play out? More than likely it's going to go SGA, Vic, Nikola. But for the sports answer, again, repeating it, Wemby, Joker, SGA. That's my MVP voting right there. Spurs Chisme for doing this to end the show today. Appreciate everybody joining us here right now. Sports Answer, Answer Now TV, Salem Surround. Call them now, 210-526-3635. It's Chisme time.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs Chisme. Nine, por favor.
All right, you're Chisme, and we're asking the question again, and we'll put that. Let me put that poll up again here for you, for everybody to see. We are going to have a poll. You can type 1 or 2 in the chat. Basically, that's how you're going to be able to vote. You go to the chat, you have 1 or 2, send that chat in there. It's on Answer Now TV on YouTube, so be sure to search Answer Now TV. Jump those comments in there. We're going to add this same poll into our social media as well. So again, you can find me at the Sports Answer on X. This poll will be on there. But again, if you want to vote, type a 1 or 2 in the chat. So that way you're not left out. It says, do the Spurs want to see Denver in the second round of the playoffs? That is your poll here for today. I'll leave it up there. Because again, could the Spurs have an easier path not facing Denver in the second round? This is the poll that we've asked. Drop those comments. It's so type a 1 or 2 in the chat. That's all you have to do to vote. But again, the question being, do the Spurs have an easier path without Denver? So say Denver gets to that 4th spot, they're going to be in the OKC side. Then they've got to either, more than likely, they're going to face Phoenix first round, depending on what happens later on the games today. But also, you've also got Minnesota and let's say the Lakers in that second round. I remember telling a lot of people the Spurs season definitely changed in that Minnesota game back in January. That's when everything changed. You're talking about a Spurs team that led 55-42 at halftime. They led by what? 55 or the 13-point lead. They led by 12 points at the end of 3 quarters. Minnesota went 33-18 in that fourth quarter to win by 1 point against San Antonio. A major collapse for the Spurs. And this was in the regular season back in January. And I said, you know what? I remember talking to Jeff of Spurs and Focus. And I said, this is the game. This is the game that is going to turn this season around. That's going to make them wake up and realize we cannot do this. We have to change. That was back January 11th. Then we all remember in February 1st, even before then, they went on a tear of the league. Double-digit wins. I mean, beating teams by double digits. They just went on a tear. I think they've lost, 3 games since February 1st. One, if not the hottest team going into the NBA playoffs. The Timberwolves are 2-1 against San Antonio this season. But no Wemby that first game. a mind fart in January. They beat Minnesota. And again, Minnesota got 55 from Anthony Edwards, and they almost came back to beat San Antonio in that game. So is it an easier path knowing you have Minnesota or Denver potentially if Denver, stays in that 3rd seed? No, it's not. It's probably one of the toughest paths to go through. The Spurs have had problems with Phoenix at the beginning of the season. For whatever reason, they did. Say they even play the Clippers that first round. They've had issues with the Clippers. Go back in the season. Check it out. They've had issues. They've got wins, but they've had issues with them. A lot of these teams tend to match up with San Antonio. Don't know why, but they match up really well. Then if you get that past that first series, you either have Minnesota or Denver if Denver stays. Now, I don't give the Lakers a chance against Minnesota. I really don't. So for me, it's either Minnesota or Denver. Both teams have winning records and own the season series against San Antonio this year. That is a very tough path for the Spurs. Huge for them. We talked about the inexperience because everybody says they're inexperienced. I don't expect them to go here. I don't expect them to. I call BS on that. I've been calling BS on that for a little while. Because if they are that inexperienced, those emotions, those losses would have got to them throughout this season. They've had some very heartbreaking losses. That Minnesota one especially, that could have derailed a magical season for San Antonio. Those are the kind of losses where you hang your head down and you try to bounce back, and it's like quicksand. You're trying hard to get out of it, but the more you try, the more you struggle, the quicker you sink. That's the type of game that was. But they've been the team where they understood what happened. They get back in the gym. They make things happen. They right the ship. They get back on the track. So I don't buy the inexperience thing. Do I think they can win a 7-game series against Minnesota? I believe so. I think Wemby has upped his game from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And that Minnesota collapse back on January 11th, Stephon Castle had 7 turnovers in that game. He's been a turnover machine all year, but lately he's played at a higher level. This entire team has become a different team the second part of the season. That's why I give them a chance. A really good chance against Minnesota and or Denver in that second round. It's going to be a struggle. Regardless, it's going to be 7 games. I don't expect a sweep. I'd be shocked if it's a sweep. I'd be shocked if it's a 5-game series. I fully expect a 7-game series, but I give them a chance, and I give them a great chance of beating either or. Yes, it's a very tough path. It's a very tough path for the Spurs to the NBA title this season, to the NBA Finals, actually. Tough path. What do you think? Do you think the Spurs have an easy path or a tough path in that part of the bracket? I think OKC is praying Denver stays away from them. Because if they so happen to land the Rockets, the Lakers, and that side of the bracket, OKC cruises to the Western Conference Finals. But no matter what happens, of the two top seeds, San Antonio has the most difficult path to the NBA Finals. Sports question for all you sports fans out there as well as Spurs fans. Could the Spurs have an easy path, or do you think it's difficult? What do you guys think? Drop those comments below. And of course, you can always get to me at Sports Answer on X. You can also go to Answer Now TV, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any show, whether it be the Sports Answer, whether it be the Drive Home on Fridays, or our new show here, Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia. You can find him on his YouTube page as well, Spurs in Focus, or you can find his shows here on Answer Now TV. I appreciate everybody joining us here for the Sports Answer. Enjoy the final regular season day of NBA basketball. Play-in starts Tuesday. Playoffs, I believe, start next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So, Spurs fans, it's almost Fiesta time for you out there. Enjoy Fiesta, celebrate Fiesta, have a lot of fun. We really, really, really appreciate everybody join us here. And we got the Drew Show in here. Comment, is this live? Yes, it is live, Drew. We are live every single Sunday here on the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV. We are also live usually on Fridays for a drive home. You say WNBA expanding. We did cover that at the beginning of the show. WNBA shock we did. They are going to expand. They added 3 more franchises. They have Portland. They have Toronto. They are actually adding Detroit, Philadelphia, and Cleveland. That's going to be tipping off in, I think, 2028. So, yeah, we've got a lot of talk here. But, yes, Drew, we are live every single Sunday morning for us here at the Sports Answer, Answer Now TV. And Fatal Fall WNBA gets 51% of all revenue. They only get 49% for operating budget. I agree. Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm glad you came into this one because my biggest thing was that you just signed a CBA. You just expanded to 2 cities. We have no idea in this unfamiliar territory for the WNBA. That is, it's big. It's fantastic. They got a new CBA. They're going to get paid more, but I don't agree with the expansion part. We have no idea. Like I said, year one, it's not going to be Golden State Valkyries all over again. These teams are not going to be playoff ready or playoff push or anything like that. The attendance is going to be great first year. We got to wait second year, third year, fourth year. If these teams are struggling to get into the playoffs, to be recognized, to be anything, that's where it comes in. Is attendance going to stay put? Is it going to still be high? So, yeah, I mean, to me, expansion is too tough. Women getting 20% is actually 50% of revenue owners have to give. Yeah, the NBA gets 51% of the franchise fees off the top. And again, you said it's a bad deal. It's not a great deal, but again, starting to see what the players get. They want that $1 million contracts. They're getting them. But I think what the league is messing around with is the expansion part. You don't know what you don't know what you have just yet. And that's the part that I don't like. That's where I think it spells pretty bad for us. Appreciate Drew Show. You've been a major contributor when we had, shows in the past throughout the day. I really appreciate you joining us in here. Again, it says they can never get out of the buy. NBA calls something else in. Yeah. I mean, it's a new thing. We're going to see how it works out. But Drew, appreciate you joining us, man. Join us on every single Sunday again here at the Sports Answer, Answer Now TV. We've been on it for a few months already. So again, you can join us here. We'll be live in studio. Actually, I believe on Fridays for the drive home. So appreciate everybody joining us here. You can catch us on Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button, Sports Answer, the drive home on Fridays, as well as Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia. Answer Now TV is just expanding. It's expanding. Appreciate everybody joining us here on Answer Now TV for the Sports Answer. Again, if you have those burning sports questions, all you got to do is listen to the Sports Answer. See you guys next week.
You've been watching the Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com San Antonio and stay in the game.